Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. We are so excited to have you again. Some few weeks ago, there were a lot of crises in the NDDC, that is the Niger Delta Development Commission, and it has to do with contract scam in NDDC where senators were being pinpointed. It came to a point where their names were actually being released, and Nigerians are really expectant to hear what is going to happen to those senators. But guess what? There's a shocker. And the shocker is that the panel that should investigate or probe the senators are telling stories right now. And they're telling us that they can't probe the senators, and they gave their reasons why they cannot probe the senators. That will be revealed in the news. But before we continue, if you've not subscribed to our channel, kindly hit on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our videos. All right, let's look at the news in detail before we discuss. The Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition has said the information at its disposal is not sufficient to commence the probing of senators indicted in the alleged contract scam at the Niger Delta Development Commission (NNDC). The ad hoc committee set up to unravel the alleged financial recklessness by the Interim Management Committee of the NDDC has recommended an internal mechanism to investigate lawmakers indicted by the agency to have secured multi-billion naira projects without executing them. There has been an outcry over the billions of naira stolen from the commission. Even as a member of the NDDC Forensic Audit Committee, Professor Isa Sadiq Rada said recently that no fewer than 12,000 projects, some of which were partly paid for, has been abandoned. Speaking at a workshop organized by the Network for Justice on budget monitoring and tracking in Sokoto, Rada, who is a member of the Presidential Advisory Council Against Corruption, said 1,700 contractors took mobilization fee and disappear. He said NDDC for 20 years has got over $40 billion, and when you convert $40 billion to naira, we're talking about 116 trillion naira. The entire money was taken away by their young people, leaders, agitators, activists, and now the Niger Delta is as bad as many of the rural areas you find in the northern Nigeria. But the chairman of the Senate panel, saddled with the responsibility of carrying out the probe within 4 weeks, Senator Ayo Akinyelure told one of our correspondents in Abuja that the ad hoc committee did not provide relevant detail that could assist him in carrying out the task. Akinyelure also said the probe of a fresh petition against the managing director of the NNPC, Professor Daniel Pondei, would wait till September when the National Assembly resumed its current annual vacation. He said his committee members, who would need sufficient time to study all the allegations contained in the petition, were currently not available following the adjournment of legislative activities till September 15. The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, has said during an investigative hearing by the House of Representatives in July that some lawmakers were beneficiaries of NDDC project. He subsequently released a list of the contractors, including a senator from Delta State who allegedly had 53 projects against his name, another senator from the state with 6 projects against his name, a senator from Edo State who also has 6 project against his name, and a former senator from Imo State who has 19 projects against his name. Others were former chairman of the Rep Committee on NDDC who has 74 contracts against his name, a former Delta State governor, and another former governor of Abia State. While the identified people denied the allegation, the NDDC Director of Corporate Affairs, Charles Odili, said in a statement that the Interim Management Committee of the Commission stood by the list released by the minister. It said the names emanated from files in the possession of the forensic auditors. The statement added, and I quote, it said, "It is not and Akpabio's list, but the NDDC's list, the list is part of the volume of 8,000 documents already handed over to the forensic auditors. The ongoing forensic audit would unaid those behind the contract. But in his interview with one of our correspondents, Akin Yelure argued that the information at his disposal at the moment from the ad hoc committee on the senators accused of failed contracts could not allow his panel do justice to the issue. He said, "We have yet to receive detailed information from the ad hoc committee. Before my committee can entertain any petition, there must be specific allegation against certain set of people, and the allegation must be clear. We must have detail of the contract collected. There must be sufficient details about specific contracts, the head of execution, period of contract, contract sum, and amount collected. All these are not in the recommendation of the ad hoc committee. The ad hoc committee has not given details of the one they want my committee to sit on. We are still expecting them to supply us with information about the specific allegation against the affected senators. We need to have their identity." He explained that the committee needed to know the contract the senators collected without execution, adding that there must be specific allegations for the committee to verify, and that the minister who made the allegation would need to supply more information. He also added that, according to him, he said, "I am aware that senators don't award contract, but if it is the one they facilitated for their constituency, we would investigate their link to the contractors. You will find out the procurement process they went through before the contract were awarded, those who paid the contractors, and to those whose account was the money paid to. Was the contract executed or not? It is when we have these details that we could ask questions. So we are still expecting the details of the petition to be forwarded to my committee. The minister who made the allegation will also need to supply adequate details. We want to know the senator who allegedly collected contracts and those who allegedly demanded bribe. It is when we get all the facts that we could do justice and present our reports and recommendation." On the fresh position against Pondei, Akin said, "We will start the investigation when we resume plenary in September. We have to take our time to find out those behind the position and other details that would guide us on who to invite to come and give evidence. If we don't have all these details, we cannot do anything. Moreover, most of my committee members are now advocation. I cannot sit alone as chairman and claim that I am conducting public hearing." He assured the public that the Senate will do justice to the case. This is really a serious issue. And guess what? Nigerians were really expecting it. Yeah, I would say that we most Nigerians never trusted that anything will be done about the case of the senators, because the truth of the matter is you cannot tell some set of persons who are brothers, kind of brothers in law, to kind of sit over their cases and they make headway with it. As much as we know, to some extent, they understand themselves better. So that's why when this issue came up, it was rather very wrong for the House members to investigate their brothers. Ideally, the president should have possibly, via the office of the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, set up a panel which is maybe called Presidential Panel investigating NDDC, contract scam, and he will be in position, at least sit as the head of that panel. That's I'm talking about the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, or he brings in people who are capable and have an understanding of what is obtainable in NDDC, to sit in that panel so that we can get adequate justice. What we are going to see is just a case of, after a while, it will die a natural death. Before you know, other issues will pop up and that will be swept under the carpet. Before you know, very skeletal informations will come out. But to some extent, the chairman of the committee is saying that the information is not good enough. But however, we are waiting to see what will happen at the end of the day. Don't forget that Pondei had already, or is going to go in for another petition to explain himself. I pray this time around that he will not faint again, because that was a big drama that Nigeria will not forget in a hurry. He will get himself well so that he can stand up and defend what had happened in NDDC. That's where we would like to leave it. Do you think that Nigeria will get adequate reports and full probe into the issue of contract scam in NDDC? Let's interact.